And welcome to our little boost bit of the day, our nice ultimate boosting wellness platform. And I'm Shirley McLean.
And I'm Dr. Sue Peacock, and welcome to World Sleep Day.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And it's all Sleep Awareness Week this week. And you know what? I'm so glad that it is in a way because at the moment, I don't know about you, Stu, but a lot of my clients are just struggling so much with sleep lately. You know, sometimes when you get a cluster of clients and like they're just so exhausted, they just like can't switch off at night. And it is just becoming a little bit of a theme at the moment.
Yeah, you're right. It's just really sort of super common, isn't it? Because sleep is such it can be such a slippery thing, can't it? When people are stressed or stuck in those bad sleep habits. So what kind of things are they saying to you?
Well, it's sort of like same sort of stuff, really, to be honest. They're lying there in the middle of the night. They're like heads all racing, all these thoughts are going round, and some of them are like checking the phones. That's usually what the first
Mhm.
thing people do is check the phones. And you know, they're absolutely exhausted. They're just absolutely shattered the next day. That cycle just keeps going on, you know, just tossing and turning.
Yeah, it's that sort of classic sleep spiral, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
the brain just won't hit the off switch. And have you talked to them, because I've talked to quite a lot of my patients about, creating that proper sort of sleep sanctuary.
Yeah, so I do with the clients that I see for sleep, I give them some sleep guidelines as well there as well. But I'm interested. So what do you mean exactly by your sleep sanctuary?
Sleep sanctuary, it sounds really cozy, doesn't it?
It does.
So basically, it's about making your bedroom as kind of sleep friendly as possible. So, cool and dark and quiet. If you can do blackout blinds, but if you can't afford them, because sometimes these things are expensive, aren't they? Just pin a blanket up at the window so there's light coming through.
Mm,
Having your bedding that's comfortable, um, you know, no random kind of little lights that are distracting from like your chargers or the gadgets that people tend to have in their room but probably shouldn't have in their room. People got to be real about it, they do. And sometimes if things are like, you've got noisy neighbours or whatever, or there's a dog that barks regularly at 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever, perhaps, earplugs could be a consideration. Although with earplugs, sometimes they're great because it blocks out the external world, but then sometimes you become very aware that you can hear your own heart beating, for example, or you can hear your breathing, so it makes it a bit more challenging.
yeah.
And sometimes, things like those white noise machines that you can get or play in the background can be helpful for some people.
Yeah, we have one of those at the clinic actually. Yeah. And I hadn't actually thought about the light as much, to be honest. But yeah, and a lot of people do mention noise as well. Yeah, you're right about that. Mm.
I think it's that thing, isn't it? That the brain needs those really clear signals that our bedroom equals sleep.
Yeah.
So it's about, I quite often talk to my patients about this, as probably you do, stop working from your bed, stop scrolling through your phone. You don't need to answer your emails at 12 o'clock at night because actually your other work colleagues shouldn't be looking at their phones and answering emails at that point of the day. No scrolling through TikTok or all that sort of stuff until midnight. You kind of get the idea.
Yeah, and you know what? The phone is just a huge thing in it now. It is for everybody. You know, a lot of people say that you know they're on the phone before bed.
Yeah.
They do different things on the phone. I've actually got a sleeping bag for my phone. My phone has a nice night's sleep, you know, to stop the EMF.
Mm-hmm.
So I put it in a sleeping bag. But yeah, a lot of people are on their phones before they go to bed. Absolutely.
Well, it's quite funny because actually you have that. I just put my phone in the bread bin about 9 o'clock at night and leave it downstairs.
Hoping no one's going to go and sneak down and eat it.
Exactly. But yeah, joking apart, that phones are our sort of sneaky sleep killer, aren't they? That blue light that from the screen basically sort of tricks our brains into thinking it's still daylight, so the melatonin production of drops. So I think, I quite often say, well, swap your phone for a book or a podcast or perhaps even some gentle music and see what happens, see how much it helps or not.
Yeah, and I love that, you know, because really, usually, I mean, I suggest as well audios.
Yeah.
Mm? I often send my clients an audio to listen to as well. That's my top tip for the night. But absolutely, podcast, audio book, something that's just really nice and easy to switch off to. Absolutely.
Yeah, and sometimes I do joke with them that, don't get a really page gripping thriller kind of book that you can't put down
Yeah.
to sleep. It's not going to help you get to sleep either because you want to finish the book. But yeah, I think routines are key to all of this, isn't it? Because our brains really love a schedule, don't they? So if they can kind of go to bed and wake up at roughly the same time of day, even on the weekends, it kind of helps regulate that body clock. And I think it's probably more important about the wake up time rather than the going to bed time.
Yeah. Even on the weekends. Because that's going to be a hard sell, that one, Sue.
Absolutely is. But it is a game changer. And so I kind of try to reframe it sort of like this. So the more consistent our wake up time is, the easier the body will find it falling asleep at night. So it's not about kind of forcing your body to sleep. It's more about training your body clock.
Yeah, and that absolutely makes so much sense. And what about if they can't sleep? You like they're just lying there and they're just wide awake. What do you suggest?
Yeah, that's classic, isn't it? So many of my patients say that to me too. They're staying in bed and they're getting frustrated and cross with themselves, and because they're cross with themselves, they kind of go into that sort of fight flight thing. So they're anxious about not sleeping,
Yeah,
and then they kind of, their body's wired for action. It's not wired to go to sleep. So we don't want their brains to associate bed with frustration and not sleeping. So I would quite often say to people, if you can't sleep for 20 minutes, get up, do something calming
yeah,
like reading or listening to one of our audios or something, really low key, and then go
yeah,
back to when you feel sleepy again.
yeah. Oh, wow. And I bet they'd never thought of that. They're probably just lying there, just more and more, and just getting more frustrated, more annoyed.
Yeah, and it's called sleep pressure. So, if you kind of stay in bed tossing and turning, you're going to actually reduce that sleep drive. But if you get up and distract yourself, come back later, that boosts that sleep drive again. So that
Yeah,
helps.
yeah. You're a genius, aren't you? Yeah. And I'm definitely going to share that. Yeah,
Yeah, just do it. And then there's that other sneaky one, isn't there? Caffeine, and I think people forget that caffeine has quite a long half-life. Excuse me. So if they're having tea or coffee or fizzy drinks after midday, it could still be in their system by bedtime. And
yeah,
even drinks like hot chocolate and Horlicks and things like that. Other
yeah,
brands not available, I'm sure. Um, but those kind of things have caffeine in them, but that we
yeah.
don't they would because we associate them with good sleep.
Oh, that's a big one, a real big one. And I mention that to my clients. Yeah, it is a big one.
So, um, yeah, I think other quick wins, could be, if they love their evening cuppa, then it's really important probably not to not have it, but perhaps have decaf or herbal tea because that can make a big difference.
Yeah, like a natural melatonin booster.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And these are some great little golden nuggets that we've got here, and I know certainly a couple of little things that I can tell my clients as well, and that have also been helpful to everybody that's watching at the right time. Um, so yeah, really good information there.
I think sometimes another good thing is to think about morning light because that really can be a game changer. I always say to people, get outside in the natural daylight for 10, 15 minutes in the morning because that
Yeah,
helps reset your body clock because it's basically saying, hey brain, come on, it's daytime now, that clock needs to start.
yeah,
Because they've kind of prepared their bodies throughout the day, they feel sleepy again at night time when they're supposed to feel sleepy.
yeah, yeah. So again, that melatonin booster.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So the key message is really, it's not about sleep isn't about trying to sleep. It's about setting up conditions to sleep, and so it helps build that pressure, um, and build up that sleep pressure, so they're more tired by bedtime.
Yeah, and I love that. It's less forcing, isn't it? Less forcing, more allowing. That's, definitely gonna go on my next client worksheet
Brilliant.
sheet even.
It's perfect, and I think it's important to remember, isn't it, that these things, some of them sound really quite easy and quite basic, and but small changes can like these can lead to massive big differences in our sleep pattern.
Yeah.
I think it's also important that to sort of reassure our clients that if they have a few sort of awkward nights that they're not sleeping great, one, that's normal. It's about, as we've said before, it's about progress and not perfection.
Yeah, yeah. And it's been, definitely I will continue to reiterate to my clients as well that as well. So yeah, I think that's been really good. And I think we should leave our little boost for now there. Thank you so much for that. Yeah,
Thank you, and here's to easier nights and happier mornings.
absolutely. And actually, before we do go, did you do, I remember, did you do a sleep program ages ago?
I did, yeah. It's called Sleep Well with Dr. Sue.
Right. And is that like a pre-recorded? I think I did. I came on a little training that you did about that. Is it a pre-recorded one that you've got?
Yeah, it's a pre-recorded one. It's a sort of a couple of ebooks and a couple of audios to help people just chill and relax and address sleep anxiety and all of those kind of things, and hopefully improve people's sleep.
Oh, okay. So maybe we can even just pop the link in there as well for that for you.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
It's sleepwellwithdrsue.com.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Put my link.
Right. So hope you've enjoyed that and got a little bit of insight into that. And it's bye from me.
Bye from me.